Jose Mourinho likes to remind people how many trophies he has won, and deep into his career he is still showing people how to do it. Were he to triumph in next month's FA Cup final, it would be his third success in his short time at Manchester United. Mauricio Pochettino does not yet have the knack. However poorly United sometimes seem to play, they still win things under Mourinho. Pochettino's problem is that he has built a team who know how to entertain and flatter, but, when it matters, they do not seem to know how to come through. To last year's FA Cup semi-final defeat by Chelsea and their recent Champions League collapse against Juventus, we can now add a setback against United that Tottenham should not really have allowed to happen. Mourinho taught Pochettino something of a lesson, not only at Wembley but in the run-up to the game. The United manager made a lot of noise after his team lost at home to West Brom in the Premier League, threatening to drop players for Saturday's game. In the end, he made just 2 tactical changes. All his star names played and, here, they performed like the big game players they fundamentally are. Pochettino, on the other hand, previewed the game by saying the FA Cup was not that high on his list of priorities, and then picked a team that appeared to reflect that. His best defender and his #1 goalkeeper were left on the bench, and what happened? The smallest player on the field, United's Alexis Sanchez, was allowed to head United back into the game after Tottenham's fast start, and then, as Spurs ran out of ideas, second-choice goalkeeper Michel Vorm was beaten by an Ander Herrera shot that one imagines Hugo Lloris might well have saved. So Mourinho won and Pochettino lost. Again, it is a familiar pattern for both in games that really matter, and the Tottenham manager's post-match talk of supporters needing to understand the reality of his club's financial situation was not hugely relevant this time. Yes, Tottenham do not pay the kind of wages that a club like United do. Or indeed that clubs like Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool do. We know this. It is a long-standing theme of the club's impressive progress under their manager. But that was not fundamental to why Spurs lost this game. The reality of why Spurs will not be at Wembley for the final is that they underperformed on the day, and it is this that should continue to concern Pochettino as he heads into another summer without a trophy. Admired by United and a potential successor to Mourinho at some stage, Pochettino was passed over last time because he hasn't won anything. 2 years on, that has not changed, and once his team ran out of energy and ideas in the wake of Dele Alli's early goal on Saturday, it never looked likely to. United were deeply impressive in this game. This is as good as they have played under Mourinho. They started terribly, but once Sanchez hauled them back into the game, they were exceptional. It was a proper United performance, and we have waited a long time for it. Whether Mourinho, a coach with deep flaws of his own these days, can replicate it enough times to challenge Manchester City for the Premier League title next season remains to be seen. His own management has been far from perfect this season, but the potential of his team was written large across the green acres of Wembley on Saturday. Sanchez enjoyed probably his best game in a United shirt, and it was overdue. Paul Pogba was excellent too, while Ander Herrera and the defensive pairing of Phil Jones and Chris Smalling were imperious. Herrera can be an irritating, sly footballer, but he was too good, too keen, for Tottenham, and their own holding player Moussa Dembele never got anywhere near reaching a similar level of performance. So United were organised and hungry and diligent, while Tottenham grew increasingly feeble. They had plenty of the ball in the wake of Herrera's goal and still had half an hour to do something with it, but with United cleverly forcing their opponents to funnel the ball wide all the time, they did not fashion a single chance. Harry Kane was poor and Tottenham suffered because of it. Is it too early to start to fret about his condition ahead of the World Cup? Other key attacking players such as Ali and Christian Eriksen were gradually neutered by United as the game wore on. But this one is on Pochettino, I am afraid. The more the Argentine says that winning a trophy should not be allowed to define his work at Tottenham, the more we wonder that maybe it does. The decision not to play Toby Alderweireld because the Belgian has not signed a new contract is questionable, and it cost Tottenham against United. He is the club's best defender. If it is a decision made on principle, then we understand, but Pochettino is employed by Tottenham to win big football matches, and once again he has failed. Just as Mourinho was the driving force behind his team's victory at Wembley, so Pochettino and his idiosyncrasies contributed hugely to another disappointing defeat.